There are truths we welcome, and there are truths we run from. This isn't the one you welcome. This is the one that shatters illusions. This is the truth no one wants to hear, because it forces us to take a long, hard look at ourselves. But if you're still here, if you're brave enough to stay with this message, then maybe you're ready. Ready to stop lying to yourself. Ready to see life not as it should be, but as it actually is. The truth may hurt, but lies kill slowly. The ancient Stoics didn't chase comfort. They chased clarity. They didn't run from suffering. They studied it. They embraced it. And through it, they became free. Today I'll share 7 brutal truths, not to discourage you, but to awaken you. Because once you see clearly, you can never be controlled again. Let's begin. You are the source of most of your problems. Let's be brutally honest. Most of your problems didn't come from the outside. They weren't caused by the economy, or your parents, or your ex, or the government, or the person who didn't text back. Those things may have hurt. Yes, they shaped you, but they didn't break you. What's breaking you is how you've been responding ever since. You are the one who keeps the pain alive. Every time you replay the past, every time you avoid hard conversations, every time you hit snooze instead of showing up, you're not just suffering, you're choosing it. It's not easy to admit, but it's necessary. Because the moment you realize, I am the common denominator in my chaos, you also realize something powerful. You're not powerless. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." It's your thinking, your avoidance, your excuses that are quietly sabotaging your peace. And the worst part, you already know it. Deep down, you know what you need to do. You've just been waiting for permission, for motivation, for someone else to go first. But no one's coming, and nothing changes until you do. This is the hardest truth. You are responsible, not for everything that happens, but for how you carry it. And that's where your power begins. Because if you created the chaos, you can uncreate it. You can change your habits, your standards, your mindset, your entire life. But only if you stop lying to yourself, stop blaming, stop stalling, stop escaping. Look in the mirror and tell the truth. It's not them, it's you. And that's not a curse. That's freedom. You walk into a room and you assume everyone's looking, judging, criticizing, whispering. You replay that sentence you said. You overanalyze the way she looked at you. You obsess over how you're being perceived. But here's the brutal truth. Most people aren't thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. They're worried about their own image, their own insecurities, their own flaws, just like you are. You're not the center of their universe. You're a passing moment in a crowded mind. That sounds harsh, but it's actually freeing. Because once you realize that people aren't watching your every move, you stop performing. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop shrinking to fit into their approval. You don't need to be liked by everyone. You just need to respect yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Think about that. How much of your life have you wasted trying to impress people who don't even remember what you said? You wear masks, filter your words, live cautiously. But for what? Their approval, their applause. The Stoics didn't live to be liked. They lived to be virtuous. They chose peace over popularity, principle over praise, because once you need their validation to feel okay, you've handed them control of your mind. And the more you care about what others think, the less you live as yourself. So here's your liberation. No one's really thinking about you. Not the way you fear, not the way you imagine. And once you see that clearly, you can finally breathe. You can finally act. You can finally live. Not for them, but for you.
3, you're not tired, you're undisciplined. You keep saying it, I'm tired, I don't have the energy, I just need a break. But let's look closer. Are you really tired, or are you just out of control? Because there's a difference between exhaustion and chaos. You're not worn out from effort, you're drained from distraction, from indecision, from a life without direction. You wake up late, scroll for hours, say yes to things that don't matter, delay what truly does, and then you wonder why you feel heavy, why your mind is scattered, why your soul feels numb. It's not fatigue, it's a lack of self-mastery. True tiredness comes from action. Yours comes from avoidance. You're not overworked, you're under-disciplined. Marcus Aurelius didn't complain about mornings. He woke before the sun to write, to think, to lead an empire. And you hit snooze on your alarm and on your potential. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. You want clarity, build a routine. You want peace, create structure. You want energy, earn it through focus. Discipline isn't punishment, it's liberation. It's order in a world full of noise. It's choosing your future over your feelings. It's saying no to the easy so you can say yes to what lasts. And it starts small. Wake up on time, finish what you start, keep the promises you make to yourself, because every time you break them, you chip away at your identity, and every time you keep them, you rebuild your strength. You're not as tired as you think, you're just distracted, undirected, untrained, but that can change right now, today. Discipline is the cure, and the first step is yours. 4, comfort is the enemy of growth.
You crave comfort. We all do. A soft bed, a predictable routine, a life with no surprises, no pain, no pressure. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Comfort is killing your potential. The life you say you want, the clarity, the strength, the freedom, it doesn't live inside your comfort zone. It lives in resistance, in effort, in discomfort. Growth is not found in the easy. It's forged in the difficult, in the inconvenient, in the days you don't feel like showing up, but do anyway. You want to be stronger? Lift heavier things, mentally and physically. You want to be wiser? Sit in silence. Wrestle with your thoughts. You want to be respected? Make decisions no one else is willing to make. Soft living weakens the soul. Seneca. The more you run from challenge, the more life must keep humbling you, again and again. But when you walk into challenge,
When you seek it, you change. You become resilient. You become sharp. You become someone others can't shake. Comfort says you've done enough. Discipline says there's more in you. Comfort says take it easy. Virtue says take responsibility. And that voice, that quiet voice inside you, it already knows. It's the one that whispers, you were made for more. But comfort keeps muting it. So here's the decision. Keep numbing yourself with ease, or start waking yourself up with effort. Because nothing truly meaningful, no strength, no love, no purpose, was ever built inside comfort. Growth lives where comfort ends. If it doesn't challenge you, it cannot change you. 5. You can't heal in the same environment that broke you. You keep going back to the people, the habits, the spaces that once broke you. You tell yourself, this time it will be different. They've changed. I've changed. It's familiar. It feels safe. But here's the brutal truth. You can't heal in the same environment that made you sick. Healing isn't just about time. It's about space, about separation, about silence. You can't grow when you're still surrounded by triggers, still tied to the voices that once tore you down, still stuck in a routine that feeds your old self. You don't get stronger by pretending things are fine. You get stronger by walking away, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Don't return to the fire that burned you and expect it to keep you warm. Yes, change is painful. Yes, solitude is uncomfortable. Yes, breaking away from the familiar feels like death sometimes. But that version of you, the one who tolerated too much, said too little, accepted less than you deserved, that version has to die, so a stronger one can be born. Marcus Aurelius didn't write about healing through comfort. He wrote about rising through discipline, through reason, through courage. And sometimes, courage is leaving the table, even when you're still hungry. Because your peace is not negotiable. Not anymore. You don't need closure. You don't need permission. You don't need them to understand. You just need to choose. Heal or repeat. Protect your space. Protect your energy. Protect your rebirth. The old environment already taught you what it needed to. Now it's time to outgrow it. 6. Life will not wait for you to be ready. You're waiting for the right time, the right mood, the perfect plan, the fear to go away. But here's the brutal truth. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It keeps moving, with or without you. Opportunities don't pause while you hesitate. Time doesn't stop while you overthink. The world won't hold its breath while you figure it out. And deep down, you already know this. You've seen time pass. You've watched chances slip. You've felt regret settle in like a shadow. All because you told yourself, not yet, maybe tomorrow, when I feel more confident, when things calm down. But confidence doesn't come before the leap, it comes after. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in the presence of fear. If you wait for certainty, you'll die waiting. Epictetus. The Stoics knew there is no perfect moment, there is only now. Now is messy, now is imperfect, now is uncomfortable, but it's all you have. Every day you wait is a day you give away to fear, to doubt, to nothingness. What are you really waiting for? A sign, a savior, a life where risk doesn't exist? That life doesn't exist, But this one does, the one where you start before you're ready, where you move while trembling, where you speak while your voice shakes, where you show up unpolished, unfinished, uncertain, but you show up anyway. Because the people who change aren't the ones who waited, they're the ones who began. Ready is not a feeling, it's a choice, and the time is now. You're not a victim, you're responsible. Bad things happened, things you didn't choose, things that hurt you, changed you, left scars that no one else can see. You didn't deserve it, but here's the truth. You're not responsible for what broke you, but you're responsible for what you do with the pieces. That's the part no one wants to hear, because it's easier to stay bitter, to stay stuck, to say, look what they did to me, to wait for an apology, to wait for life to make it right. But the Stoics never waited. They accepted what was without complaint. They acted without excuse. They refused to let pain define their path. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Epictetus. You may not have caused the chaos, but if you keep blaming it, if you keep clinging to it, if you keep retelling the same story, you stay powerless. And the world doesn't need another powerless man. It needs men who own their past without being owned by it. Men who transform pain into strength, wounds into wisdom, history into fuel. Responsibility is not blame. It's not shame. It's not guilt. It's ownership. It's choosing to rise anyway. No one is coming to rewrite your story. That's your job. And no, it won't be fair, it won't be easy, but it will be freeing. Because when you stop being the victim, you become the author. You begin again, not as someone who was hurt, but as someone who refused to stay broken. That's Stoic. That's power. Responsibility is the beginning of all healing, of all growth, of all strength. And the moment you choose it, everything changes. Now you've heard the truths, the ones no one wants to say out loud, the ones most people spend a lifetime avoiding, but not you. Because if you've made it this far, you're not like most people. You don't want comfort, you want clarity. You don't want sympathy, you want strength. You've stopped asking for a softer world. You've started asking for a sharper mind. That's what Stoicism is. Not a shield from pain, but a fire that forges something greater inside you. You now know. Most of your pain is self-created. No one's really watching you, so live fully. Discipline is the cure, not rest. Comfort weakens you. Healing requires distance. Time won't wait, and your power begins where victimhood ends. These truths, they won't go viral, they won't win applause, but they will set you free. If this video woke something up in you, don't let it fade. Subscribe to this channel, not for noise, but for weekly Stoic reminders that cut deeper than motivation ever could. Because you don't need more distractions, you need ancient truth spoken in a modern tongue. And if you're ready to live by it, welcome. Stay sharp, stay steady, stay stoic.